Many people probably know what ALS is due to the Ice Bucket Challenge. I'd like to go in more depth on what this disease is. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis is a non-curable disease that has affected more than 20,000 American people. It has personally impacted my life as well. Around 6,400 people are diagnosed each year. ALS is most commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease because of the famous baseball player who was diagnosed on his 36th birthday. He died 2 years later. ALS was first discovered in 1869. ALS targets certain cells in the spinal cord and brain. According to alifestory.org, ALS is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that causes muscle weakness, paralysis, and eventually respiratory failure. Throughout time, the disease takes over the whole body. What part of the body first affected depends on the person. Their senses are still in full use. Symptoms are weakness or tight and stiff muscles, slurred speech, and difficulty chewing or swallowing. The average time for people to live is 2 to 5 years. Some have been able to live longer with treatment. There's no cure, but there has been research to find one. According to MDA.org, riluzole is the only treatment to slow down the progression of ALS. People are able to live 2 to 3 months longer. Physical therapy is also used to help keep the muscles in motion until no longer able. But this only helps for a certain amount of time. Most people are between the ages 40 and 75 when the disease develops. It is very rare for younger people to be diagnosed. ALS is not contagious, but anyone is able to develop the disease. ALS is slightly more common in men than it is in women. Although BrainFact states that veterans are more likely to be diagnosed with ALS. ALSA.org helps explain how people's lives are impacted. The website has stories of people living with the disease. ALSA is the ALS Association, which raises awareness and money for research. A few ways they raise awareness are walks, organizations such as Major and Minor League Baseball, and many others. The Ice Bucket Challenge seems to be the most widely known. My life was personally impacted by amyotrophic lateral sclerosis when my grandma was diagnosed in 2010. It first attacked her throat area, which affected her speech. After a few months, she was no longer able to talk. With her muscles no longer working, she needed a feeding tube for nutrients. As the time went on, she began losing movement in her arms and legs, and it became more difficult for her to walk, dress herself, or even grab objects. She was confined to a wheelchair, and eventually the respiratory failure began, and she had to have a trachea tube inserted. She passed away in December of 2012. Many people around the world have seen what ALS does to a person. This is why organizations are trying to find a cure. There's a lot of information on the disease and what is being done to help fight against it.